in Centre Céramique, where, among other things, the public library is located, a scale model of Maastricht as fortified city is put on display on the first floor. The original of this scale model dates from 1752, and thanks to this scale model, we know what Maastricht looked like in the 18th century in the greatest detail. Originally, scale models were mainly used for military purposes. This way, the generals of the French army could clearly see how they should attack or defend the city. Louis XIV, the King of France, was the one who had started this. He had scale models built of all the great fortified cities in France. Cities that had been conquered by the French army were also imitated to scale. If after the war they had to return the cities, they would know how to easily conquer a city the next time. For this reason, Louis also had a scale model built of Maastricht, and he was very proud that he had conquered the strong fortified city. Unfortunately, that first scale model was lost. In 1748, Maastricht was conquered again by the French, this time by Louis XV. The king gave orders to meticulously map Maastricht so that a new scale model could be built. In 1752, this fine scale model was presented to the king. The original scale model was initially located at the Louvre Museum in Paris, together with many other French scale models. After some peregrinations, the scale models have been on exhibit at the Musée des Beaux-Arts in Lille since 1986. The residents of Maastricht were of course very interested in such a beautiful scale model of the city. They received permission from the French government to exhibit Maastricht's scale model in the Bonnefanten Museum in 1973. There was a huge amount of interest. Soon, the idea was born to have a replica built for permanent exhibition in Maastricht. The Department of Defense was willing to have the scale model built by employees of the Royal Military Academy at Breda. In 1977, the time had come. The scale model was handed over to the city. The scale model has a number of interesting details. The historic buildings, for example, are bigger in proportion to the private houses. Because of this, they are easier to distinguish from the regular houses. A few errors crept into the scale model, though. For example, the former Baroque Jesuit church, now the Bonbonniere Theatre, was accidentally placed the other way around, with the entrance to the wrong side. Still, the scale model is very accurate. It shows how meticulously the city was surveyed by the French. Until today, the Vrijthof, the Market Square, and the Church of Our Lady can be easily recognized. The only things that did, in fact, almost completely disappear are the fortifications. In 1867, they were demolished for the most part, but here we can still admire them in full glory.